midday. Good afternoon. I'm Olajumoke on Motor Show with Global News and the news. Supreme Court overturned Nnamdi Kanu's release, orders trial. Hungary blocks 50 billion euros EU funding for Ukraine. FIFA approves 30 Nigerian referees for 2024 competitions.
This is the news.
The Supreme Court has upheld the federal government appeal challenging the verdict of the appeal court which dismissed the charges against Nnamdi Kanu. In upholding the government appeal, the Supreme Court held that Kanu must face trial at the Federal High Court. The Supreme Court, in a judgment delivered by Justice Emmanuel Agim but prepared by Justice Garba Lawal, held that the Court of Appeal was wrong to rule that Kanu could not be tried again based on the illegality perpetrated against him by the federal government following the invasion of his home. Also, the court held that although the Nigerian government was reckless and unlawfully rendered Kanu from Kenya, such unlawful act has not dispossessed any court from proceeding with trial. The court held that no Nigerian law was cited in a suit seeking Kanu's release on the grounds of unlawful abduction from Kenya. It held that Kanu should have filed a civil matter against the act instead of removing the powers of the courts to continue with his trial for alleged criminal charges. Rwanda's government has relaxed operating restrictions for bars, nightclubs, and other entertainment establishments during the festive season. The restrictions on all non-essential service were imposed in September by the authorities to curb public disturbance. Entertainment businesses were operating under shorter opening hours, with restrictions unpopular with hotel, restaurant, and nightclub owners. The state-run Rwanda Development Board said opening hours will be extended between 15th December and 17 January. However, the board warned against the violations, saying establishments should comply with rules around noise pollution. The European Parliament has condemned the eviction of indigenous Maasai people in Tanzania in the name of conservation. The resolution comes after an attempt by the authorities to evict the Maasai from areas in and around the famous Serengeti National Park. The EU said indigenous rights were a non-negotiable part of any conservation initiative. Tanzania's government has denied forcefully evicting the Maasai people, saying they have been moving voluntarily. Liberia's outgoing Finance Minister Samuel Tuer has faulted the United States allegation that he was involved in significant corruption. On 11 December, the EU had placed the Finance Minister's sanctions list, barring him and his immediate family from entering the country. While addressing newsmen in the capital Monrovia, Mr. Tuer said they had been summarily accused and rendered guilty without any due process of law. He said the decision to sanction them was intended to weaken the outgoing ruling party as it prepares to provide strong opposition to the incoming administration of Joseph Boakai. He vowed to clear his name but did not say how. You're on to Global News from Adabar, 88.9 FM Akure, transmitting from Ilaramoki. After the break, Hungary blocks 50 billion euros EU funding for Ukraine. Plus, FIFA approves 30 Nigerian referees for 2024 competitions. Details in the second part of the bulletin. Please join us again.
The news on Adaba 88.9 FM.
Glad to have you back for news update and live streaming. Visit our website www.adaba889.fm or download Adaba FM app on Google Play Store. You can be part of us on our social media platforms www.facebook.com/Adaba FM 8.9 on Facebook, at Adaba 89 FM on Instagram and on X, and Adaba FM TV on YouTube. You can provide us information via email newsroom@adaba889.fm. Now to the rest of the bulletin. Hungary has blocked 50 billion euros in European Union aid for Ukraine. The announcement comes just hours after an agreement was reached on starting membership talks. The aid blocking was announced by the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban shortly after the EU leaders decided to open membership talks with Ukraine and Moldova and to grant candidate status to Georgia. Hungary, which maintains close ties with Russia, has long opposed the membership for Ukraine but did not veto that move. However, EU leaders said the aid negotiations will resume early next year. Guyana and Venezuela have agreed not to use force in settling their dispute over the oil-rich region of Escobio. They also agreed to establish a joint commission of foreign ministers to address any matters arising from the contested area. After meeting Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, Guyana's President Arfan Ali reaffirmed his commitment to peace in the region, but he said Guyana had the right to exploit the sovereign space. In a statement on X, Mr. Maduro said it had been an excellent day of dialogue. Hong Kong have offered rewards of $128,000 million for information leading to the arrest of 5 pro-democracy activists. The 5 individuals have been accused of various offences, including inciting secession and colluding with foreign forces to endanger national security. National Security Department Chief Superintendent Lee Kwa-wai said the activists have continued to engage in activities endangering national security after they went overseas. Meanwhile, UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron has called the Hong Kong police move a threat to democracy and fundamental human rights. World Football Governing Body FIFA has approved 30 Nigerian referees to participate in various international games next year. They comprise 11 referees, 11 assistant referees, 4 beach soccer referees, and 4 futsal referees. Ademola Olajire, he said the referees included Bashir Salisu, Ogabo Ode Joseph, Olufumilayo Abigail Alaba, Nuruddin Abubakar, and Abdusalam Kasimu Abiola. This is contained in a statement by the Nigeria Football Federation NFF spokesperson. Nigeria football officials have often missed out on international competitions, including the forthcoming African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. To end global news, a recap of the top stories. The Supreme Court has upheld the federal government appeal challenging the verdict of the appeal court, which dismissed the charges against Nnamdi Kanu. The court held that Kanu must face trial at the Federal High Court. Hungary has blocked 50 billion euros in European Union aid for Ukraine, just hours after an agreement was reached on starting membership talks. I was told that World Football Governing Body FIFA has approved 30 Nigerian referees to participate in various international games next year. That's Global News as edited by Adeyemi Lawal. I'm Olajumoke Omotosho saying good afternoon.